Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Cosmito, and first and foremost, thank you so much for watching and listening to the first ever Let's Talk podcast. I'm literally reading a script because I won't remember what I'm saying. A show where me and my best friend talk about a topic of choice. Just want to point out there may be some extra echo in today's episode. It'll give it a little nostalgic feeling. Okay, enjoy. It's dark. We just had a power outage for a second. We were just talking. Welcome again to the first podcast for... There's no name still. During the power outage. So to run you guys up to speed, we were in the middle of just doing our first podcast and the power decided to go out. So, yeah, that's always great. And I can understand why you think you can hear the echo. Because if I talk like this, sorry, viewers or listeners, I can hear it coming off the headphones, but that's not a big deal.
Oh,
yeah, that's where the echo is.
That's fine.
So, people can hear me ramble on in the background. So, we rated Cookies by Julia. We rated them pretty high up there, so good job. Tried to make a Mickey cookie for my mom, failed.
Yep.
Then carved out with a toothpick.
Yep, like a pumpkin.
Yeah. So now we're trying to get. We had no idea that the power freaking just. What were we even talking about?
We're talking about how long we've been planning on doing this actual podcast.
We're also eating, listeners, so we apologize if you have to hear that. But we promise no lip chapping. None of that.
Yeah, it's not an ASMR.
Yeah,
here,
no.
So I'm sorry if you guys were expecting that, but
Absolutely not. No, we're not in that world. No, nobody's gonna do that to us.
so it's been roughly about a month since I believe the idea was at least brought up. I don't remember when the initial thought was, but here we are, and here we are, and hopefully
I'm just happy that we're
stuff.
actually able to sit down and do this
Yeah.
because with our lives going on, new things are happening. I mean, a new year. I mean, what? New job, new opportunities. Hopefully, we leave everything in the past from 2022. That was a nightmare in itself.
Agreed.
How was yours? How was your whole 2022 year?
It was an eye-opening experience, I would say the least. Started off, as crappy as any post-COVID year could probably pretty much come from, but it turned better. New job, like I said, an eye-opening experience. Definitely for the better now.
Yeah.
I'm at a better place mentally and physically as well. So hopefully going into this newer year, in the place I am right now, which is way better, it'll continue. And that's all I got to hope for. So
That's a good vibe. I've been just trying to get back on my feet for me. We all know what 2022 brought us.
Yeah.
Well, for me, and everybody actually was a part of it. So that will be later down in the topic of discussion if we ever get into that. So I know that. Here's the other thing too. For last year, it was a lot of realization. It was definitely a lot of realization. I woke up and I was like, this something needs to change. Because I was in a predicament where I was just like completely, it was now or never. And I took my chance and window of opportunity. People are like, what is he talking about? What's he talking about? You'll find out later down the road. More than likely, absolutely. But it's just like, especially with all the things we do. Like, what was it? It was, I got my video games. You got your, what is it, a mechanic or an engineer? Or I never really asked you what you fully do.
So, as a profession, generically, I work on cars, but I work at a dealership, and I am in the service section of that job. So I am technically a mechanic. There's many different ways to put into words. Right now, I'm a maintenance tech, so basic stuff.
You just clean up stuff?
No, like I work on cars, but I change oil, do tire rotations. I do some light heavy work, I guess you could say.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
Brakes, some suspension stuff. I change tires.
Have you ever took off the most annoying parts of the car and you're like, if I have to go through one more bumper or one more tire again, this is the day for me.
It's definitely crossed my mind at least once. Recently, way smoother.
That's good.
It's either my body's getting used to it or I don't know if it's just mentally I'm okay with it. But there's definitely been times where you're like, why am I doing this as a career?
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to do this forever. And
I felt that.
It crosses your mind, and I think any job would give you that thought at one point. Because no job is perfect. I mean, there might be a perfect job out there for you, but it could be the weirdest. Could be the thing that you would least expect.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because you know, I've been working on cars for a long time, and it's my hobby outside of work as well. So that's why I decided to get into it as a career. But going off of that, it wasn't really the most thought out idea as a job. It was something that I know paid decent, and vehicles are on the road 24/7, whether they get newer, smarter, electric, whatever it may be.
Oh my God, I know everything's getting electric now.
Yeah, so there's still always a job there.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a time where people are not working on vehicles, because we all need that.
That's a fact.
So it was a sure job, and especially when I first started working, it was a very difficult time. I think it was back in 2016 or 2015, around there. It was hard to get a job in general. People weren't hiring, and people were just firing and laying off people. So I wanted something where I know that there would always be a demand for, and it was kind of like a sure job. And once you have knowledge in it, you will always be able to get something in that job, that field. So I continued with it, and here I am now. And hopefully, well, the way things should work is it'll get more difficult as I move up, but at the same time, it'll get easier. Like shorter hours for more knowledge.
Yeah.
Higher pay for more knowledge, less work.
Mm-hmm.
It's more mental at that point. So it'll eventually pay back, and hopefully it turns into sun.
Where do you see yourself retiring at a certain age?
I mean,
if you had to choose the age, if you were like comfortable.
If I was thinking right now, and with what I'm doing physically every day, okay, so just as an idea for everyone's knowledge, I'm 26 right now. So, because of how much my body usually hates me after a while, it would be nice to have an early retirement. I could probably go to my 50s comfortably.
You said your body hates you?
At certain times. It might be the weather, or it could just be me, myself. I just don't want to deal with life, you know? So
I think anybody who's hearing this can actually agree with like, oh, we felt that.
Yeah, so,
comments are flooding already.
And you know, the time of the year does play a factor. Winter's a time you never want to get up and work in it. And the darkness, the early darkness doesn't help. You know, you go to work when it's dark, you come back home when it's dark, but luckily the job I have is pretty light on the inside, since I work more or less indoors, so I kind of forget about time.
Luckily you got that martial arts experience to keep your energy up.
Which actually is what I was going to get into anyway, because that's also part of the reason why my body hurts.
From karate?
It helps and it doesn't.
What belt are you again?
Okay, so maybe we should just introduce ourselves as that part.
We should.
So originally this podcast was supposed to be a martial arts based podcast, and we were going to lean into it, and I think that's where it's leaning already. So right now I am a 5th degree master in Tang Soo Do. I've been doing karate since I was 7, so this year marks my 20 years, which is...
Sheesh, that's awesome.
It's kind of crazy to say that.
You didn't just hit 10, you hit 2. Like 2-0.
2-0. And I'm still going. So the reason why my body hurts, though, is because I actually injured myself one time. A little bit of a story time, I guess. So I have a bad left shoulder because I was competing in a tournament.
Yeah, your shoulder.
And I was practicing a breaking routine. And I was setting myself up for other martial artists that do know the terminology here. I was doing a hammer fist with my left arm. And for the people on the camera that could see me, I was coming across. I'll try to explain this the best way I could. As if you were to reach out for something to your left with your arm completely straight up to your shoulder height. So I was coming across like so, and I was striking the board there. It was only one board. It's only about 1 inch and a quarter or so by 8 inches. So it's a very simple break for the most part. What I failed to compute when I was performing this was as I was extending my arm, and it's no one's fault but mine, so I'm not going to say that it was the holder's fault, the person that was holding the board. I'm not going to say it was their fault, but the way I was angled, when my hand struck the board, my arm was already fully extended. So for the people that might not know how the science of breaking works, I mean, it's a pretty simple idea, but I would actually have to have the board in front of where the ending point is. So for me to go through the board, I can't have it where my arm is fully extended when I touch the board because there's no more room to actually swing. So I would hit the board and it won't do anything. I would actually have to have it maybe a couple inches forward. So when I fully extend, my arm is slightly bent, and then when it fully extends, it goes through the board. So what happened was basically that. So when I struck the board, my arm was fully extended. Now,
did you hyperextend it?
I did not hyperextend it.
Okay.
So what happened, as I hit the board, and I'm trying to summarize this because it could get into a lot of detail.
Right.
When it struck the board, the pressure of the strike shocked up to my shoulder. So because I didn't have enough force to go through the board, the pressure traveled up through my hand, my wrist, my elbow, and once it hit the shoulder, because my arm was fully extended, it actually popped it out of socket for half a second.
Just the feeling.
Yeah, so it popped out and it popped itself back in, which was the good part.
Wow.
The only good part of that.
It's just like pop, and then it just shakes. It went back in?
Yes, it was out and in. And it just happened to be the right angle where it would actually cause it to do that, because I'm sure if I angled my arm down or up, it might not have done that. I probably just wouldn't have broken the board, but it actually shocked in and popped it out, and it went back in. I was able to do the rest of the tournament pretty much one-handed. After about 10 minutes, it was back to normal.
You sparred that day one-handed, didn't you?
I also sparred right after.
Of course you did.
So after I completed the break with my right hand, because that was the left hand that I messed up, or shoulder, the next event was actually sparring. So basically what I did was I went to my family because they were there supporting. You know, I was like 18 or 19. Excuse me one second.
At 18 you said you went?
I think I was 18 or 19.
Okay.
Probably 19 if I want to round it up.
How many tournaments have you went to before that? A lot?
Ooh.
As much as you want to count them, if you had to get an estimate.
Okay, so to go back in time. My first tournament that I ever watched was actually the very ending of 2003.
Really?
It was
2003?
I guess I could say some details here because it'll help understand everything. So
yeah, go for
it. We live in Connecticut, and I'll just say that. So we there's a tournament called the Connecticut Yankee Nationals, which my federation which my federation actually hosts every year around October. That was the first tournament I ever witnessed. I was 7 or 6. I was like 6, 7. I might have just turned 7 or something.
Yeah.
I was a white belt, and they said, "Hey, if you guys are interested in seeing what else you could do, go check out the tournament and see how you like it." So I didn't compete, but I watched. And I remember this because I still have a T-shirt that says 2003 Connecticut Yankee Nationals.
That's cool.
Doesn't fit me. But,
wow. Right.
But I still kept that as a memory because it's, just to say that you could have it and you were there. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's a good flex.
But I've been competing since 2004 because that was in October. So the next following year when the whole new year started and they started to count the points for the circuit, I guess you could say. So like
you ended up getting inspired after seeing the tournament? You were like, oh, I want to do this.
Yeah, and originally when I first did martial arts, I didn't like certain subjects because for most tournaments you got sparring, breaking, forms, and weapons, just as a generic, depending on the tournament. I only liked forms. I was really good at forms.
Yeah.
I did not like breaking at the time. For fear of what may happen, and you look at what happened when I turned 19, even though I didn't expect that,
Yeah, nobody expects the breaking of your own body except the board. Yeah,
exactly. So I only did forms, and I did that for a good maybe 2-3 years. Worked my way up, white, orange, blue belt. Once I hit blue belt, around purple greenish is when I started doing other things.
Yeah.
I started practicing weapons, which I didn't compete with yet. I did do breaking only because I felt I didn't want to be one-sided with one thing. I tried to be well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it was my weak area, I still wanted to get exposure to it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually smart.
Yeah, so that way I could at least hold my own, if to say that.
When did you like have that mindset? Like, where you're like, I'm just gonna do it.
Good question. It's
Because it's like at the some people like, I don't know. Throwing my experience real quick, it's just like my mom and dad were like, they owned your karate school at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And when they passed it down, I think it was just kind of like, I don't know, something in the blood, just kind of like it was always there. The karate. I started off at the age. I did the same thing. It was at the age of 4, and they paired me with I was a white belt, and they paired me with a green belt in sparring. But they, I think, I don't know if they gave me first after winning and sparring against a green belt. But I swear, I think they you know how like they favor the little kids over like, oh, you did it, yeah, good job.
Mm-hmm.
I look back, there's an actual video, I look back at the video, and I was like, damn, I actually really was going to town in that green belt, because apparently my mom says that the green belt was crying that I beat him. And I'm like, I still didn't believe it. I think it was like still like, you know, they try to go easy on the kid and stuff like that, but like some of the things I didn't like. I actually never liked sparring, believe it or not. I hated it. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was pointless. I thought it was violent, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And around, I think, 13, you know, when you grow, you start becoming a boy, a teenager,
Yep.
you start, like, thinking differently and acting differently. And then I think I saw the sparring class, and I saw what really opened my eyes was I saw a tornado kick. I am not going to explain how a tornado kick works through video. But if I want everybody to imagine they're lifting up their left leg, all right, picking up their knee, they're spinning to the left in a circle, like a full circle. And once you reach the full circle, you jump, switch feet, and then kick with the other leg. I hope I explained that better, like as best as I could. But I saw that kick, and I'm like, I want to learn that. 13, learning that kick. We tried it on a board. We tried it on a bag. We tried it in sparring. And after that kick, I was like, this feels great. This feels good. I felt like Spider-Man in my world. You know what I mean? Like limber, fun. And over time, when sparring, something I actually hated, became something I like, you end up, like you said, you're just kind of exposing yourself in that field, because you never know what you're going to like until you actually do it.
Very much.
It's literally like you look at it and you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. And then you sit down and you try it out and you're like, okay, I kind of like this. This is fun. This is actually pretty intoxicating, because it's like, listen, there's something about karate that you're sitting there and it's just, I always remind myself, it's not really about the belt. I don't care about the belt. I care about how I progressed. Like, how many forms do you know?
Off the top of my head,
If you like,
I could count it.
you can count it. Yeah, go for it. Count it.
Okay, so just bear with me, guys. I might need a second.
I'll give you like the Jeopardy theme song in the background where it's like do 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 do.
So you got 9, 10, 11,
Man, there's
12.
a lot of forms.
Okay, so then there's 3 per black belt.
I was
so 9.
thinking we never even had Kichungobus.
I believe I know 24 forms right now.
24. That's
I believe I'm learning 3 more, so that might be 27 soon.
so. Check this out. We almost know the same. The same. It's Tanksado. We both. If anybody doesn't know,
Well,
since
actually, not to cut you off.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
But let's at least have my friend here introduce himself as well, because he didn't get to introduce his martial arts self.
So, most of you are aware of the YouTube background, but as for me, I'm 27, and I've been doing martial arts for about 20 years too. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to think about that. And I'm a 3rd degree black belt in, and you're a 5th dan, right?
Correct.
So he does outrank me. I've seen this kid perform. It shows why he's his rank. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Uh-huh.
But just 20 plus years, 3rd degree black belt, many tournaments, met incredible instructors and students, and it's just like, it really, as you grow, you stop and you look at your belt, or like when you're in your uniform. Have you ever like looked at yourself in the mirror and you're just like, wow, I'm here. Like, this is it. I made it. So it's like I'm standing. I think I was 17 when I got my black belt, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like standing here. I'm like, Jordan, take a picture of my little brother. Jordan, I'm like, take a picture. And I looked at this picture actually last month. I looked at it last month, and I'm just thinking, I stopped doing all of that stuff maybe 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, have you ever felt like you just want to get up at 3 a.m, like you're like at 3 a.m. bathroom break, and you just decide to, maybe I can practice doing a few side kicks right now, or a few punches. Maybe I'll just do a form. Why not? Have you ever had that thought of in your head, like you want to do it at work, or it's like
at work, not so much 3 a.m.
Okay, well, I guess that's just me then.
Definitely, it definitely comes in spurts. It's like I'm not gonna say it's a different side of a person, but it's in there, so it comes out randomly. It's almost like you just get into it in the moment. Like you might think of a thought, and then all of a sudden your brain is stuck on it, and then you're like, wait a second. Like for example, maybe you had a thought. It's like, I wonder if this could work in a combo for maybe kicks or punches, or maybe you're like, maybe I want to try this move and see if it works.
Yeah.
And then you keep thinking about it, and then it eventually kind of eats at you a little bit. So you're like, wait, let me just try it really quick.
Yeah.
And no matter what you're doing, you're still thinking about it. And you're like, you might get looked a little weird. You're like in the corner doing whatever you're doing, and it's like next thing you know, you see this guy kicking the air. It's like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
But
you ever see people do karate at the beach?
Oh yeah,
I love
I've definitely seen that. It fits though.
It just works out.
I feel like it fits. I mean, ever since the whole, for everyone that's watched this, because I'm pretty sure everyone did for the most part. Karate Kid, the first one.
The first one, not the Jaden Smith one. We're talking about
the original.
Wax on, wax off.
Yes,
Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
The predecessor to Cobra Kai and what it's based off of, basically.
Yes, sir.
It had the scene where he was doing, the crane kick, practicing it in the beach. And honestly, a lot of fighting movies around that time had a beach scene, if you notice. Most boxing movies, Rocky, he was running on the beach to get more light-footed because he was a flat-footed fighter, which was something he needed to work on. And
I didn't even think about it like that. That's why he did it? Because
he ran on the beach, and my memory might be a little bit off, so if I misquote this, please, forgive me for that. But I think he was running with Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed was teaching him how to be more light-footed because he was a good fighter, but he didn't know how to block his punches, and he was a really easy target. So he made him go to the beach, and he said, "Run." Which is if anyone has ever really ran on the beach to try, it's very difficult. It's heavy. The sand, it moves under your feet, so you could be running as fast as you can, and someone could probably speed walk past you.
Kicking it all over the place.
Yeah, so he did that as a drill, and to do that, it made him lighter on his feet, because if the flatter you walk or the flatter you run on the beach, the more you're going to sink, the slower you are.
Are you a tiptoe baby? Yes. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Now, that helped me with the whole flat-footed part, because I wasn't really. I do it instinctively walking around, but sometimes sparring I do get a little flat-footed.
I do notice you bop a little bit when you walk. You have a little pop-up. You like, for the people that can't see it, he has his think of your foot flat, and as soon as you're walking forward, you push off on the tip of your toe, and you're just like little boop. Like a little hop.
If you see me walk, and I get made fun of this all the time because I don't notice it. If you're watching my head, you see my head bounce up and down as I walk, like I'm a Mickey Mouse cartoon or something. Where they're like dancing and walking like da, 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 da. Yeah, it looks kind of like that. I can control it a little bit, but it keeps me light on my feet. Don't know why I do it, but it's just something I've always done.
The one thing I've never there's a lot of people out there in the martial arts world that I've seen they have all this training, all this practice, all this, I don't know, this mental drilling mindset. From what I learned in karate, it's literally not just a physical sport, but it's literally mental. I think when you can learn this stuff in school, for example. They teach you this stuff in school, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" I don't know. I think it's called plyometrics, jumping, crawling, sliding. I think that's the name of it. Forgive me if I said that wrong, but as a little dragon, when you're 3 years old and you're jumping over the pipes and you're crawling under like the obstacles that they have set up for you, and you're playing duck duck block, which is actually you're practicing high blocking and low blocking the things. Over time you're actually developing that blocking mindset. Like there's been times where I have friends, like even yourself, we would just mess around, we would throw punches and I would just naturally block it, and you wouldn't even tell me to block. We're just messing around. And there'll be times when I'll sit there and I'll be like, what if I actually had to use it? And then I'll think like, I think the first time I had to use it once. Now I'm not confessing anything. No fights happen. I gotta keep it low key because respect for the other person. But I did have to judo flip someone once. It was not a fun story, but it was in my own home, and there was an argument between this person and I, and we're just having this really heated discussion. And I said, "Hey, look, you gotta get out. Gotta get out." So it's like I'm gonna call the authorities. I'm gonna have them left. Like I'm gonna have them leave. Okay. Like I gotta get you out. So this, and I am not joking when I say this. The person jumps on me because I'm on the phone and I'm trying to I'm trying to get the phone to like ring here because I'm literally calling the authorities. I'm not done. Yeah. I'm done with it. So they didn't want it, so they jump on top of me, and they're grabbing, trying to get the phone out of my hand, screaming. And I'm like, what is going on? I got this monkey in my back. Like, I'm jumping. Yeah. So, worst case scenario, I'm like, okay, my throat is being grabbed. I feel like I'm being choked. I grabbed whatever I could, and I just twisted, and they landed. When they landed on this metal part of my bed frame. Oh. So, like, the center of their back met this metal bar, and think of their back vertically. Okay. Think of the bar horizontally. Oh, yeah. That's so break your back move. Yeah. So they come down vertically. The bar's there horizontally. Pa! They just bounced, but they hit the ground so hard they actually bounced back up. They had a back injury for like 2 months, but it's just like I'd never wanted to use it. At the end of the day, I feel horrible using it. I never want to hurt. That's my goal. Like the point of martial arts, people are like, "Oh, you're gonna use martial arts, but you don't like fighting." That's not the point. The point of it's not. I'm not gonna go in there and then like be like, "All right, I'm ready to fight Mike Tyson." Like I'm not gonna, or like I'm ready to score up with my teacher. Yeah. It's literally it's a benefit. It's a growth. It's a good mindset that you want to be a part of, and it's just teaching you how to do the right thing. I mean, when you became a master belt, are you like, "Oh yeah, I'm a master now. I tell you what to do." Like
not at all.
Yeah. Like what's your mindset on that?
So. When that happened for me, when I graded to that high level, which for my federation, and I think it might vary, I'm not sure if it does vary, master belts, when and where it turns into a thing. Usually it's 4th degree from my understanding.
4th.
So yeah. When I became a 4th degree, honestly, it was the opposite of what people would assume. Like a lot of people would probably think, oh, power trip time. You're going to get more confident and you're going to be a little cocky. And obviously you wouldn't because, when you take martial arts, it's the opposite of that. So you already understood the journey. If you're already that high in rank, most likely if you're grading to 4th degree, you are not cocky. Yeah. But I felt like I wasn't ready, Initially, that was one of the first scariest grading times I actually had, besides this last one. When I was younger, grading up to the next belt was kind of just part of the motion. It's like, okay, for my federation, we grade every 3 months for the lower belts.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
For the GUPs, on average. And at that point, it was just routine. It felt like it was a class. You see the same people, same faces. You learn a couple of new forms, a couple of different moves. You might demonstrate something a little bit different, and you move up to the next step, whether it's a GUP or a belt. And then once I became a black belt, it slowed down a little bit more because my federation does it where the number of degrees you're moving up to is how many years you have to wait. So, for example, 1st degree took 1 year, 2 years to get to 2nd after that 1st degree, 3 years after 2nd to get your 3rd, so on and so forth.
It's not easy, guys. It's not. They don't just give belts away, by the way. This is stuff that you work hard for. So.
Yeah, it takes years.
Yeah.
And if you have the will and energy to continue on, it pays back, but it's kind of like, I'm drawing a blank, but it's definitely a commitment.
Yeah.
At the very
Okay.
least.
Yeah. Think of it like your job, what you're doing right now.
Yeah, like if you're gonna build a career, you're not just gonna stop halfway through or you know, sell yourself short of your own energy and work.
So many people do that.
You're gonna try to at least commit some energy and time and knowledge and some blood, sweat, and tears into moving up so you could move on. So it's the same with martial arts.
Man, I want to get up and just start kicking.
Yeah, see,
It's just that thing. You talk about it, you feel it, and you start like, oh, how about this technique? I want to do a kick. I want to do a punch. All that good stuff.
it's definitely the thought does bring that up. Are our voices still recording?
Yeah, your camera, your microphone actually picks up on the OBS software.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to make sure because I'm over here looking in the corner and I didn't see it. So I was like, wait, did they hear anything I said?
Oh no, you're good. For the people that can't hear, we're actually using 2 microphones. So obviously, they can't see. You're using 2 microphones, and it wasn't that bad to set it up. My computer's probably using most of the energy in this basement studio thing we got going on. So
Yeah.
but anyway.
Yeah, continuing on. Yeah, so I would say talking about like it's a commitment, but it doesn't feel like a commitment. It's a natural thing. It's a want. If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't want to do it, no one's forcing your hand at it. It's really based on you as a person. So if anyone out there is like really interested in starting a martial art and like I said, I'm talking from a Tang Soo Do standpoint. I'm not sure how other schools do it or other styles. So,
Yeah.
don't quote me if it's like, oh, well, this guy said it goes like this, but another place is different. It's just a generic roundabout. Most places do it like this. If you have a will to do it, I would definitely say give it a try. Might not be for everyone. Everyone has different types of things. It's great for, it helps relieve stress.
So much stress.
It clears your head. It's good exercise. Different class topics might work you out more than others, but it's mind and body together, and it really ties it together, in my opinion, where it helps your body just work with yourself. It's like a self-healing thing sometimes.
That's the thing. There's like so many to the trade. Everybody thinks a lot of martial arts. I mean, okay, so martial arts. Yes, it is a violent sport. It is. I'm just going to go hands down and say martial arts is a fighting style. It is a style to defend yourself. It's unfortunately some people recognize it as a just once like you're learning to fight. I mean, I think that's not the total concept of the martial art. Well, I used to teach a year or two ago, and I stepped down from teaching to just better my mind mentally. And during my teaching days, there was this one kid. One parent walks up to me and goes, I want my kid to learn. I don't know if he's ready. He's 6 years old. He fights with me all the time. He always tries to get in fights with the students at school. What do you think you could do about that? And I'm like, okay. So I got this kid, right? He's 6 years old. He's a bully. The kid's a bully. Like, he is the problem. But the mother wants to sign him up for martial arts. And I'm like, this is gonna be different. So here we go. We put this kid, he's 6 years old. I got to say, the orange white belt class, beginning startup. This kid is asking questions. He's asking, like, why do we have to do this? Why do we do this? What is up with this? Like, this is stupid. Like, he's saying things off at the top of his head. Clearly, this kid just needs to he's saying whatever he thinks. Mm-hmm. That's right off the bat. He called me short as soon as he saw me. I was like, hey, I just vibe with it. Like, you gotta learn how to respond. Teach him how to respond differently.
The correct way.
Yeah, the correct way. Like, if he calls me short, you want to respond with, hey, you just got to vibe with it. Or you can do the right thing. There's many teachers that would say, or I would say, hey, we don't do that here. We don't talk to people like that. I'm assuming that's been said to him many times, and he still never got the kick. There's different ways. It takes a village to raise a child. Mm-hmm. I think it took like 4 black belts to raise this kid. Eventually, years go down the road, or months go down the road, kid hits an orange belt, saying, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, he's getting it down. But you know what clicked? It was that special bond. I don't think he was truly seen at home. I don't think he was truly recognized at home. And that's the thing about the martial arts too. It's you get recognized a lot. People, the teachers observe you. They watch you. They make sure you know like what's needed for like what does this kid need versus what this kid needs, right? Mm-hmm. So that 6-year-old, like I said, I'm not gonna say his name, but he went from this. He was bad in the beginning, and we worked and we taught and we never wanted to. Some people deserve a little bit of redirection, but in the way it should be taught, and everybody has their own way of teaching. I like to inspire others, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got the 6-year-old that has no idea how to kick. He does a kick, and I'm like, you want to know how you can do better? Like, that's the question right there. It's like, that was a good kick, but you want to know how you can do better? Never heard that before. His eyes went up like, yeah, sure. He never said it was stupid. I asked if he wanted to be better, and he wanted to take on that. Mm-hmm. You know, he won his first tournament.
Oh, really?
He went to a tournament, and he won. You know what he did to the person that he beat? Gave him a big hug and said, good job. That's the growth. That's what we teach. It's not all violent. We literally took this kid. I don't know what the family history was, but we took this kid and just turned his life around. And I still see pictures of the whole group on Instagram, and there he is, still smiling, still loving karate. And I sit there and I almost cry sometimes looking at that. And I'm like, had we not paid attention to that, had we just treated him like just an individual, he's just another cash dust collector. That's not that is not what any martial arts school should be. You come in, they are looking at this school like, maybe this will help my kid. And they are trusting you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's why you got students in your corner, because they trust you. You probably have had dealt with so many different students, all shapes and sizes, all different emotions, all different roller coasters. Yep. And you still sit there and you're still putting on this same face that you've been doing for years since you started teaching. And you still got people that probably want to rip your eyes out, but say, you know what? I can't, because he taught me so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's times that my students want to kill me, and they tell me that. And they say, but you helped me through so much, and I just can't do that to you.
I usually, I like to read my classes sometimes.
Oh, read?
And reading as, I like to see their faces.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm observing their faces.
Got you, okay.
Like, let's just say, okay. So, I was teaching a class, and I usually teach in the morning, for the most part. I first check to see if they're tired, because the morning time, it's on a weekend. I usually teach. No one wants to really be there in the morning, but
I know
they either have
10 o'clock, 8 a.m.
Well, actually, mine is a little bit later.
Oh,
there is classes that are at like 8 in the morning. I actually teach the 11 o'clock one, but even then, for the most part, I have a lot of teenagers, and when I was a teenager, I wanted to sleep on the weekend. Whether I needed it or not, it's just sleeping's great. So I would read to see if they're tired, and I would like to give them always a fair warning, because I like to create a very close bond with my students. They still respect me as, obviously, their instructor and their master and such. But I also like to be friendly with them, a little bit of small talk, because these are people that I'm going to be teaching for years to come. They're going to grow up with me as I'm growing older and learning more too. So I want them to like me as a person as well. So I would talk to them, and I would usually give them a fair warning, and I read their faces, and I will say, you guys are going to hate me for this class.
You've said that before too.
And I would say that, and it's like, but don't worry, you'll like me in the end, because you're going to get a lot out of this.
Yeah.
So I'll give them the heads up, like, it's not going to be fun, or even if it is, it might just be physically straining.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm really going to push you guys. You guys are going to reap a lot of rewards from this. And, you could smile now, you can smile later, whatever you prefer. And sometimes I would start teaching, and I would do like a really intense warm-up, because I want to get them...
sorry to cut you off. How long is the warm-up? Like, you said intense warm-up. How long is it?
It really depends on what it varies. Most of the time, the longest I've ever done was a 15-minute warm-up, but it's
okay.
very fast warm up because I usually only have an hour to play with.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Respectable.
starting with a heavy warm up, the rest of the class is following that pace.
Yeah.
So I'll do like 100 jumping jacks. I'll have people run around. I'll have them do burpees. I'll have them do push-ups, crunches, light stretching just to make sure we don't pull muscles and we loosen up our hips and such. And then after that, I would read their faces. And sometimes I see, some grimaces. And then I would try to be a little lighthearted. I'm like, so how you guys doing? And no response. And their faces are kind of blank. And it's like, okay, well, that's a good answer.
Yep.
Like, I understand. I said, just give me a thumbs up to make sure everyone's good because I don't want anyone to get winded or pass out. Because I've been there before in a class where I almost passed out. You can only push yourself so far. And I don't want anyone to get hurt while I'm teaching. So I would do that. And this is the crazy part, which is kind of like why I'm getting into this. In the end, when the class is done, or nearing the end, maybe the last 10, 15 minutes, whether we're doing punching drills or sparring or self-defense throws and such, they always seem to be smiling in the end.
That's good. That's what you want.
It started off with
Sometimes.
not so good. And like I said they're gonna hate me, but in the end you'll feel better. Whether it's because they did a nice workout and they're like, wow, I feel really good now. Or maybe it's a internal thing where it's like, oh, they know if they could get through it, it's like, that was nice, I'm good, I'm done, it's over,
I know that feeling.
But in the end, I never had, and I'm not saying this in any sort of way, but I guess I could say I never had a student say that was a bad class.
You never had somebody say you were a bad teacher? And like,
no, not that. If it was not in those words.
Yeah.
Maybe I never heard someone say. I guess maybe it's just the respect behind it. Like, it's just something that doesn't need to be said.
Yeah.
I basically read it off of my school has a few teachers. I'm just one of them. If they stop showing up to my class, then I kind of take that as they probably don't like the way I teach.
I never even... Okay, so we had this instructor that would teach on Saturdays in the morning.
Okay.
We tried to do this little test, okay? My instructor at the time said, okay, so this instructor teaches at 8 a.m. every Saturday. You only get 2 black belts that show up, and that's a black belt class. And then they went, all right, guys, so this Saturday, this instructor is going to teach to just cover the other instructor.
Mm-hmm.
They're all poker face in my class. In the classes, they were all poker face.
Mm-hmm.
They'll light up if they want. They don't have to. It's all up to them. So I told him, I was like, hey, look, this person's going to be coming in. And they're like, okay. That morning, it was like 15 black belts that showed up to that class because of this specific instructor. The original was so hurt and so heartbroken. Because it's just like, it's the one class this guy got at 8 a.m. just to teach.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't mind it being 1 black belt, maybe 2. But it's like, you see a whole squad of 15 people coming in, and then the next Saturday, there's only the 2 black belts that are there after the fact. So we made an announcement, and we said we should all give our instructors a chance. You will think of it like a shop. We shop everywhere. We go to American Eagle, Hollister, J.C. Penney's. We're never going to find the clothes that we want all the time in those locations. That's why there's such a variety. That's the term, variety. Every instructor is different, and that's what I like. I had like 9 instructors. 9 instructors. And they all taught me something different. My most recent instructor, the first form, for the people that don't know the term, Kicho-young Ilbu, or Seiki-young Ibu, or Seiki-young Ilbu. These are forms that are learned. Like, Seiki-young Ilbu is the first form. Kicho-young Ilbu is the first form. We're learning how to do this thing, a block. If you guys don't know what a low block is, take your left hand, bring it to your opposite shoulder, almost like looking like you were making a triangle with your elbow. Swipe the dust off that right shoulder, and then keep your hand closed. You got a low block. Make sure that other opposite hand is pulled back, also known as a chamber, as if you're elbowing somebody. My instructor takes my hand and goes like this, keeping it tight.
So for the people that didn't see that, he pulled his arm up and pushed it back.
I pulled it up, and I just kept it. I'm like, why? And he's like, well, you're not going to do a crappy elbow. Everything's tight. And I'm like, holy crap. This is my first time in this guy's class for, that was the first time I joined this dude's class in 6 years. He's teaching a Saturday, 6 years straight. Only 2 black belts. I don't know how many people showed, but from what I understand, the majority was 2. But the one time I went, after 6 years of finally deciding to go, I learned so much from the first form, dude. The first form that I learned when I was like a white belt. Years later, I'm a black belt now. Now I'm learning things from the first form that I didn't even know existed. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm saying, like, there's so much in the martial arts world. There's a variety. That's why I don't believe there is a such thing as a bad instructor. I believe you can be a bad instructor if you don't know what you're doing. There's a lot of people that, I will respectfully say, there's a lot of people that do not deserve black belts. There's a lot of people that don't deserve it. And I mean that with a lot of respect.
Yeah, I guess I would have to say that too. I mean,
it's like I'm not coming at anybody.
And once again, I guess it's with anything because there's.
It's hard to talk about.
Well, okay, for the people that are listening, this could be taken 2 ways because a lot of people might think that it's like, wow, these guys talking right now are being a-holes because they're saying that some people don't deserve what they spent their time on. It's like, no, that's not what we're trying to say. Because for all the martial artists listening, I'm pretty sure you guys know what we're talking about. For the other people, let me explain. So, just like anything, it doesn't need to be martial arts. It could be, imagine you're at a job. It could be any job. And you're the person that puts in a lot of work. You're like, I want to feel like I earned this money. You know, I try my best. I want to please my boss. I want to do good.
I want a little cold.
Yeah, it's a little chilly down here.
It's a little chilly. We're almost done. That's
right. But continuing with that, you're a person that really likes to do their job, and you want to do your best at it because it makes you feel like that's the whole reason why you're there. You're there to make money. You want to do a good job. That's why you're there. But then you have that one coworker that is kind of just, I don't know, being lazy, maybe not doing their job 100%. Oh,
you're going to do this work-related? Yeah,
I'm doing this work-related because I feel like everyone could relate to this. So you have that one coworker that you might feel like sometimes doesn't do as good a job, or he's lazy and he doesn't want to do anything, or maybe he just skates by under the radar where the boss doesn't notice it, and it's like, whoa,
why? My God, I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's like, wow. And then the first time you do something, maybe a little bit, maybe you're tired or something, and you're at work, and you slip up, or you come in late by a few minutes because you overslept, you missed your alarm, something. And then you get in trouble. You get talked about it, but yet this other coworker comes in late all the time, or he's always doing something wrong, but he never gets caught. And the one time you do something wrong, you get caught.
It's really funny. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's so funny that you talked about that because you know that next week's topic is going to be about work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So it's going to be a lot of conversation between that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So keeping that analogy there, now put that, and instead of saying it's work, you're at a karate studio. Now, you're doing your best. You want to move up to the next GUP or degree. You want to get your next belt. You work your butt off, and you really want to be good at it. You're trying to make your stances nice and clean. You want to execute everything properly, throw energy into it. But then there's this other person in class that, once again, is kind of skating by. Maybe an instructor might pick on you a little bit more because he sees potential. That's an assumption, but let's just say that. And this other person is in the corner, and he's just kind of going through it, and he literally is not doing anything special. Like, he's just doing the motions.
Yeah.
Now, you guys, everyone's usually friendly in this, so let me explain that this is like a friendly thing when I'm saying this. No one's after each other or anything when we're saying this.
Of course, yeah, right.
But you guys are about to become black belts, so you grade. You guys both become black belts. Now, you, the person who is really working hard, you felt like you earned it, and, you know, great. That's perfect. That's exactly how you should feel. But then this other person was just trying to get it just to get it. And there's 2 different types of black belts. You have the person that is really doing it for the art, and then the person that's just doing it just to get it. So,
yep.
If you
that hit me. Yep.
So if you put them next to each other, and you have them throwing a kick or punch or doing a form, there's 2 differences. You have crisp and clean. And like I said, saying this friendly, and this might be an assumption, but you have crisp and clean, and then you have the next person who skated by who's just doing the motions. They could do it. They are still a black belt because they still did the training, they still did the time, they know the material.
You know they do that at tournaments, right? Mm-hmm. The people that just like, I'm just going to go to this tournament because I can actually just compete. And then we think of it like, oh, you did the form, but do you actually know what you're doing? Like, do you know how to do the form? For the people that aren't watching, and I'm just quick about this because he's in discussion with something. You have like a punch, right? And when you shoot out the punch, there's two different punches. You have the full pull, everything's there, and then you have the If people don't see what I'm doing, I'm just like doing a little punch, not really doing any commitment to it.
Just placing the hand there.
Yeah, just putting the hand there. And then in the form, you got these black belts that are at these tournaments, and I'm watching them just kind of walk through the form like they're at a park. I'm like, what are you doing? This is not what you signed up for. The tournament is a tournament, bro. You can't just walk in there dancing like... in my opinion, you can't be just being all noodly. You gotta have some spirit.
Yeah, so going back into it, that's the two different types of black belts that we're referring to, where we're not saying that they didn't earn the black belt because they did the time and they understood the assignment and they did it.
I like that. They understood the assignment.
They understood the assignment. But
that's awesome.
Did they really put their heart in it?
Yeah.
There's a big thing, like, and I think many types of fighting styles, whether it be boxing or Muay Thai or just anything that's considered a sport or a martial art, there has to be heart, and heart is an actual thing. You know, it's like that's your will to do and your energy and your love for it. If you're lacking heart, that's like lacking a piece of your arsenal. So yeah, you could do everything else, but you're lacking your heart.
Yeah, it's like almost like not trying to be. I hate doing this analogy. Let's be a little safer. It's like a flu shot. I really can't get clean if I don't have the vaccination. You know what I mean? It's like you stuck a needle in me, but it's like where's the vaccine? It's like that's the biggest part. You know what I mean? Like a chamber to a block or a chamber to a kick, right? If I kick and if I just have my hand and I just drop my leg, that's crap. That's not good. I see what you're saying. The heart has to be there.
Well, I can also do a better analogy for people that might not understand fully, because I feel like everyone understands boxing for the most part because
boxing is a good analogy. Yeah.
So heart is a big thing in boxing. So for example, you have two people fighting each other, and let's just say they're both knockout kings. They like to knock people out instead of winning by points.
Yeah.
So you have one person that's doing it because he's just there to do it, and one person that really wants to do this.
Well, you get two different. Yeah.
So now they're fighting each other. The guy who is just doing it to do it, he knocks out the guy who is really there and is in it to win it. When he's on the ground, he gets up as quick as he can because he has the will to continue on.
Yeah.
You knock down the other guy, so let's just say vice versa. The other guy's on the ground, he doesn't get up as quick. He might get up, but he takes his time. He's just there to be there. Eventually, if they're going knockout for knockout back and forth, who do you think is going to be the person that's still standing in the end?
The fierce one.
It's going to be the one that has the heart.
Yeah, the one that got
That's the heart.
Yeah.
Without the heart, you're going to end up being on the ground because you're going to be like, this ain't worth it.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay on the ground.
Did you say, you ever see Mike Tyson's final fight?
The one where you bit the ear?
No.
Oh.
It was the one, that wasn't his last fight, was it?
I know he got banned at one point.
I know he lost. He lost. And he was like, I don't think I have it in me anymore. I'm sorry, I let everyone down.
We're talking about the final fight as in the exhibition fight
like his
that we
last
watched?
one. No, was it his exhibition?
Well, remember
he looked young. He didn't have hair.
Okay, so this was probably before the exhibition, because if you guys don't know, he did an exhibition fight maybe a couple years ago.
He said the same thing. He was like, he goes, I don't think I got I don't think I got that heart anymore. I don't think I got that fierce that these other people are trying to like bring. It's just I don't think I got it anymore. And I'm like, that really broke me because I'm like thinking Mike Tyson, man, like for him to say that, it's like I mean, the guy's old. He's getting at the age where he needs to relax. For starters, he's worked hard. He deserves a break. He's done enough. He's done plenty enough.
Agreed.
But for the people out there that are listening and watching, listen. This is my ending because we are wrapping it up soon. Look, you heard it from both sides. It's life is like to me it's. And I'm sure to you, maybe life is like martial arts. Everywhere we go, we walk it, we breathe it, we exert it in our own ways. And like if we see a situation, what do? We observe the situation. We assess the situation. We analyze. We see what we can do to benefit. We never want to go for the most impulsive negative result because that doesn't really make sense. It wouldn't really benefit. And the heart has to be there too. From work to school, anywhere you go. I mean, for cleaning your damn room. Like, cleaning your room, man. Don't shove it under the bed like we did as teenagers. You're probably our age. Some of you guys are 26, 27. Some of you are 15 listening to this. And I know some of the people in the Discord that are work. You know, these people in our Discord, they're working on animation projects, 3D projects. One guy's working on a song at age 12. You got like this 11-year-old kid that's working on a video game. And I'm like, you know what I was doing at 11? I was playing my GameCube. That's what I was doing. I was trying to. My goal was to finish Luigi's Mansion in GameCube. But
yeah, just being the next boss. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, or you're still trying to remember that cheat code that you saw on your computer.
Yeah. Cheatcodes.com or something like that.
Cheat Code Central. Cheat Code Central. If anyone remembers that.
Cheat Code Central. I've been on that one a few times. Cheatcodes.com gave me so many ads, it messed up my computer. Anyway, I don't know if you have any like thing you want to tell anybody, like like a heart to heart moment for all the people that maybe like deciding what they want to do or like something, martial arts, jobs, whatever.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna start it with this. Everything that we said in this segment, this is opinionated. I'm sure a lot of people will agree, and some people will probably disagree with what we said. Please don't take any offense to anything we said because that was never the point in this. We're just sharing what martial artists probably don't say, and a lot of us think this, you know. It's nothing bad. It's not that for the negatives that might have been brought up in this segment, it wasn't really a negative. It's just
talking.
We're just talking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with that because I don't want to offend anyone. You know, we're here to
we want to make it clear. We are here to talk. We are not trying to offend nobody. Like
we're just bringing things up, and I hope that, you know, for some people that are listening, that this could have helped some people. If not, then, well, I hope we could soon. But give us the opportunity. Come to our class.
Nice promotion there.
So, for the people that would like to start martial arts, I would definitely say please give it a try if you have an interest. Don't be afraid to do it. When I was young and I was getting into it, I always said, I want to do it. It wasn't until someone pushed me to do it that I actually did it. If you have the choice to push yourself, I would say just give it a try if you have an interest. Don't do it if you don't want to, because we're not trying to sell you on the fact that saying, hey, martial arts will change your life. I mean, it will, but if that's not what you want to do, then that's okay.
Yeah.
For all the martial artists out there, just keep pushing, you know. Don't let any of the... trying to make a nice heart to heart here.
Hey, you're bringing a tear to somebody's eye.
Okay, I hope so. Hopefully not a painful tear.
Oh, no,
okay,
don't need that. He told me to do better. Who does he think he is? This guy?
So for all the people that are out there, just keep pushing. If you feel like you're going through a time where, and I'm saying this because I've been there, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are probably thinking this.
Absolutely.
If you're in a portion of your martial arts career where you feel like kind of like a plateau moment, for those that work out, you know, the plateaus when it just kind of gets stale. We've all been there. We've had times where we've taken breaks. We came back to it. If you're going through a period in that, no matter what your age may be, but you still have the love for it and you still want to continue it, don't feel like because you're going through that moment that's the way you're always going to feel about it. It's not like, oh man, I lost interest and it's done. Martial arts doesn't usually work that way. Since it kind of becomes you, it's just you. So,
It's just you. I like that.
It just
I never
keep
even
pushing.
Heard, I never heard
It's
that
like
before.
any. I'm trying to put my words together.
No, you're making
here.
so much sense with just by saying it's you. It's like,
and I'm not saying it's
you're the problem.
You're the problem. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's you. It's you it's a personal thing. I get it too. It's just like if you're going through work and you get stuck in a rut and it's like, wow, I really hate this job. It's a dead end job. Blah blah blah. Whatever
just a
you want to say.
natural feeling.
Everyone gets those times.
Yeah.
Same thing with martial arts. It's a great thing. Dude, there might be those times where it's like, wow, I'm doing this for nothing. Why am I spending the money on classes? Why am I doing this? I should stop. Just give it a little bit of time. Think it twice. Take a break if you need to. It's not bad to take a break. We've all done it. Everyone has busy lives. If it's because the money's short, that's okay. If it's because you're too busy, that's okay. Martial arts is always going to be a part of you because it is you. Going back to that.
I like that.
So,
you said martial arts is going to be a party because it's you?
It is you.
Yeah.
You are what you practice.
It's not about the style, it's about the person.
It's not you are what you eat. It's you are what you practice.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
You are what you practice.
So, if you're practicing martial arts, that's you. You created your own art in an art.
This is why he's the master belt, guys. Like this is why he's the guy.
Yeah, so you're there because you added. Just think about it, because you matter in that art.
Yeah, yeah.
Because without you there, it won't continue. Whether you're a teacher or not, if there's no students, there's no master. And if that person doesn't continue his journey, and this is up to you, because I know a lot of places would encourage you to teach eventually. Whether you want to teach or not, if you wanted to just stay a student or an instructor and a student, whatever you would like to do.
Yeah.
Just know that now you matter because you're in it.
Yeah.
And you're what's keeping it going, because without the student, like I said, there's no master. So if there's no students, nothing can be taught. Everything disappears. All the arts that we're learning, if it doesn't get carried on to the next person, it will never grow. It will die. It will cease to exist. So just think about it. Even if you're a white belt, or you're just even thinking about this, like just to start, going into this, you will be, what did you say earlier in the podcast? That you will be recognized.
Yeah, being recognized.
So you're there and you matter because you're carrying on something that has more weight than, I'm not going to say most things in the world, but it's a very big thing. It's an art that's been alive for who knows how long, depending on the art.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It was like real quick. It's just 2,000 years of martial arts. You by yourself are carrying not just by yourself. Actually, yeah, you
individually
are
still.
Individually, yeah. You are. Don't worry about anybody other belts. Don't you work together. You are a unit. You are brother and sisters.
But actually, I hate to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I
you're good.
Apologize. But
it's all good.
Just like what you said, don't worry about anyone else. Because when you're in the class, you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys are working together as a unit. You guys are a class. You guys are friends. But everyone has their individual journey. You guys are just sharing that journey.
And it's always important to know everybody has their mess ups. Everybody will make human mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I think you gotta support each other in those kinds of fields. You know what I mean? You can't out anybody. That doesn't make you can recognize you can either oh my god, it was you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's what it is. That's from Batman.
Okay,
and
I was gonna say,
Two-Face said that.
Somewhere.
and I understand why he said that, because it's like you either die a hero, you either do the right thing, you either keep doing, you do the right thing. It's so easy to do the right thing, but it's a lot easier to do the wrong thing. Exclude people, not just ignore, be a bully. It's so easy to do that. But just going in there and fight, and I gotta say this. This is my closing thing real quick, and that'll lead you back.
That's fine.
It's just, don't let yourself beat yourself. I mean that as in, don't let your own negative thoughts impact your journey on whatever you're doing. Because if there is some good in your life, this guy right here told me one day, if something is good in your life, then eventually some little thing is going to come and try to mess it up to see how you react to it. Best bet, martial arts, observe, analyze, don't impulsively act. That's my closing statement. I don't know if you wanted to add more. Like, what's your thoughts still on it?
We could make a whole day worth of a podcast.
I know we could.
Arts, so...
We could talk about this forever, and I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it.
Actually, my question for all the viewers, listeners, for this podcast segment, we were thinking about doing different subjects. If you guys want to hear more about martial arts and maybe different subjects, if any of the martial artists listening out there, they want to say, hey, I just have a couple questions, can you put in your segment where, I don't know, your opinion on a certain kick or maybe a style or just any type of martial arts question, definitely let us know. If you want us to do more of this, just let us know if you want us to talk about this. We have a lot of knowledge in it. We're not the all-knowing people, but if you guys have questions, let us know. And if you want us to do more, just let us know. I don't know.
No, it's good because it just gives a lot of people opportunities to just bring out their own opinions and things. And honestly, if we're wrong on anything, let us know. We take the L.
We're okay. We were students before we were teachers, okay? So we know how to take criticism, and if we're wrong, just please point us out.
Yeah, just help us out.
Yeah, because we're learning from each other, right? So
for God's sakes, we still haven't even come up with a title for this. We'll think of something. But dude, is there anything you wanted to say? Anything else? Like anything?
How about this? We'll just pick a subject where it's opinionated both sides.
Okay.
We'll end with this. Well, first let's agree on it. What do you want to? Just pick something.
What are you thinking? Like the next topic for next week?
Whatever you
I was thinking jobs, like before. Like we can just stick to with like jobs and just talk about certain work environments and just discuss who feels like. In my opinion, I have a lot to say about work environments. We could talk about if we got fired and stuff like that. I will never bring up anybody's names, but I will never bring up the company. I will never bring up the business. I will just talk about, I worked in this environment before. So we can definitely talk about that. I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear those stories, but it's opinions. Let us know in the comments section. What were you thinking?
For subjects?
Yeah.
We could talk about work. We could talk about... Honestly, I actually would like to hear what the viewers would like to hear.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better.
We'll go with the work segment next.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I'm hoping that, for those that are listening, please let us know what you would like to hear from us. It could be anything. We're actually pretty open books here, and we actually have a lot behind the surface. So you might find that we might be... we might have the same hobbies or anything like that. So, bring up any subject. We'll try to touch on it, and we'll try our best to add it. I guess.
So, guys, real quick, thank you so much for watching our very first podcast. There's no host or co-host here. It's us. All right, we are together. All right, not together, but we are best friends. So, brother. Who just spoke? Was that?
That was my.
That was your phone?
Watch.
Oh, your watch spoke to you. Like, don't forget about me.
It says it's looking for our podcast right now.
It's looking for our podcast.
It says here's a matching YouTube result.
Oh, all right. Good things are happening. It's projected. So, this is. I drew a blank. What was I just saying? Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Guys. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot. I mean, we're trying to make this a thing. We're trying to have people come down and just talk and just share their own sides of anything. As said, you guys can comment anything you guys would feel like would be open for discussion. Just keep it logical, keep it professional, keep it realistic. We will say no to certain things if it's out of our line. So
understand that there's a certain point of you have to keep a line of professionalism, okay?
Yeah, because it's not like, and I can't believe I'm going to start off here. I am not going to do an Andrew Tate and talk out of my bum and contradict myself and put myself in a bad situation. No clout and disrespect towards Andrew. It's just that's the only podcast I know where it can get a little flimsy.
So let's keep it professional. Ask us any questions and just let us know so we could hopefully you can hear us again and we can hear from you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it. People watching in the video, we'll see you in the next one. And for the people that are listening, we will see you next week. All right? Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye-bye. Have a good day, guys.
See you later.